Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome in, welcome in. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of time. If I feel like y'all need a little bit more seconds, I'm gonna definitely put that music back on. But matter of fact, let's let it rock. Today, we getting you this. Listen, I got the book. Wait for y'all to get in here so we can start unboxing some shit. What up? What up? All right, y'all. Y'all ready? Is anybody ready? Y'all up in here? Y'all up in here? Hold on, y'all. I gotta check on some things. Matter of fact, let's put that up there. 'Cause I'm not understanding. Oh, so now it's working. All right, we back. It was playing with me, y'all. It was playing with me. Yeah, I had to make sure this was working right here. As y'all can see, YouTube is up and running. And we about to run it. Hold on, y'all. Oh yeah. Okay, hold on. See, we gotta pay attention to stuff. Boom. There we go. All right, y'all. Now, now we cooking with grits. Let's get it back to what we here for. Now we cooking with them grits. If anybody wants to see this unboxing, let me know. We just about ready to go. My boy Unc online. Hold on, let me say what's up to Unc.
Crazy gang. Damn.
What'd you say? Yeah, that's correct. Which state has the highest minimum wage?
Which state has the highest minimum wage?
Well, that's a good
Maryland,
question.
nigga.
No, it's not.
Maryland, nigga.
It's not.
Maryland. The state with the highest wage is Maryland, ain't it?
It's not.
Cali.
Is it? The state with the highest minimum wage, my viewers. What is it?
Or Virginia.
No, it's Cali.
Cali. Oh! If it's Cali, bro, I'm finna quit. DC. Fuck that. That's Maryland. DC is Maryland.
It is though.
That's Maryland.
We tapping in with Unc
California. No.
for the moment. I'm waiting for y'all to drop up in here.
Washington. 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 Fuck.
Washington State.
Nobody got it right. He said Washington. He didn't say Washington, D.C. That's the capital. That's not a state. That's not a state. That's the capital of the United States. You know that, right? Washington, D.C. D.C. is not a state. Okay?
All right, folks.
It's not. Boy,
Come
fuck
on.
you.
We got the book, y'all. Y'all ready for it? We finna unbox. Hold up. Can't let y'all see my damn the Addy. We gonna cut that out. Luckily, ain't nobody on stream yet. Is anybody in here? Chat, let me know. Nobody's in chat just yet. But we finna open up this book, baby. Who likes a good book? Down in the chat if y'all watching. Rumble folks, because I know y'all be over there on y'all crazy shit. I know some of y'all read. Not all of y'all. But I'm pretty sure you'll be excited for this one. Who likes money? Who's tired of being a broke boy? Who wants to make millions? Listen, y'all. If y'all are tapping in with me, if it's your first time and you haven't been here before, this right here is what we need in our lives. Okay? This is exactly what we're going to be using to turn ourselves from broke and a joke to changing our lives. Okay? Listen, if everybody that's tuned in, even if it's not today, everybody that's tuned in and can see my face and is watching this, I will be teaching this from front to back. Oh shoot, they even gave me a little. I ain't gonna show you my little secret code I just got because I don't want nobody to use it. Because I know how the internet go. Y'all be sniping. Just so y'all know it's real. This is it, bro. We about to be doing it. Like I don't play games. And I think people, can't understand my seriousness. Luckily today I just got to talk to a millionaire. Very crazy, bro. He used to do real big like commercials around my way. I don't know if you guys know about Mr. Lesko, Mike Lesko. But yeah, man. So we're in number one. So the thing we talked about day one, we talked about money models. Right now we're gonna get into the end. We're gonna end off on money models. We got probably about about 4 more videos. If you guys want to skip over to upsells or acquisitions, downsales, we have continuation offers, make your money model, 10 years in 10 minutes. Listen, guys, you got to start here. You got to start. A lot of y'all be afraid to start because you want everything to be perfect. Get that out your head. You need to start here. Because listen, nowhere in the history of the world did anybody start off a business, any actor or anything, and they were the number one in their field as soon as they hit the ground. All of y'all are trying to get to this point like quickly, but you got to pay your dues. I think about it like this. If I were to have gone out and try to do some of this camera work the way I did it when I was like younger, bro, I just really picked up a camera and said, look, shit. All right, let me just, you're just trying to do little angles and stuff like that. But no, now I know about lighting. We know about what we need to do with lighting. We know what we need to do as far as sound is concerned. We know too many things. So that's why I now offer the photography and, content creator course for you guys. So that way, if, you want to get started in your content creator journey, it's absolutely easy. And I give you a lot of free resources. So for example, I even talked to my brother today. And, he has a big vision and he knows he needs to utilize content. And sorry, I'm putting my phone on a tripod for the moment, just so I can see the chat without looking down. Give you guys the eye contact that you deserve. But he was trying to get started in the content, but he's just trying to do everything that he's seeing me do. And I'm like, bro, listen, you got to take your time and really think about this. You want to start doing what I've been doing? I have multiple cameras. I don't have just one. I have travel cameras. I have backup cameras. I have underwater cameras. I have cameras for drones. I have all of these type of things, but they are not things that I got in no group package that all came in one. No. When I did it, it was one by one. I collected these pieces piece by piece. Okay, so that's how you need to think about it, because the easier you start off, the more you'll be able to accumulate knowledge. And I apologize, I need a little bit of water. You'll accumulate the knowledge that you need to really get down to exactly what you're trying to do. So, for example, a lot of people get started for like, you see all these people that just talk to animals, right? And I just say talk to animals, but they have terrariums or they have fishing, like they have just fish bowls with really exotic fish, and they explain to you. And guess what? You spend a lot of time learning about these animals and these people's things. So it's just getting out there, because I'm pretty sure they just knew about these animals, these creatures, and they said, you know what? I'm just going to go out there and post it, right? So let's jump into the content, because I know that's what you guys came here for. If you guys are interested in doing a reading session together on this, because, I mean, most of the stuff is going to be inside of this video. But whatever we can't get and we need to break down, let me know down in those comments if you want to talk about it in a book club. But for now, let's let the show get on the road.
Gross profit. All right, let's rock in. So this is the second of the 3 metrics that we look at to triangulate acquisition. We started with CAC. You have to have cheap customers. We talked about the different ways to improve it, free or discount, different ways to display discounts. But now we're going to talk about gross profit. Okay, so we're going to define what it is, why it's important, examples, calculating, and improving it. All right, let's rock. So gross profit, the difference between the price and the cost of goods sold. So cost of goods, or COGS, is what it costs you to deliver the thing. All right, so if it costs me $9 to deliver meals and I sell it for $10, then I got $1 in gross profit. All right, very straightforward. Now, here's why this is important. So the problem is that most businesses think they need cheaper leads, when in reality, they need to make more money per customer. Mm-hmm. And so my observation is that the CAC, this is me like high level, because I see lots of businesses. CAC between competitors is often fairly similar. So a lot of people are, obsessing about how they're like, they want to improve their ads and things like that. And sometimes you do need to do that. But the ranges are actually much tighter than you'd think. So you might see somebody who's, acquiring customers at $2,500, somebody else in the marketplace might be $3,500. Rarely would you see somebody at like $6,000 unless they're like just getting into the market. But the CAC for specific avatars is usually pretty tight in terms of ranges when I see many businesses in the same industry. Now that may surprise you, but that just like kind of is what it is. But the difference between how much money these companies make is often how much customers are worth. Now that is where the huge discrepancy between businesses exists. So this is the difference between the whales and the minnows, is how much they make per customer, gross profit. All right. So let me tell you a quick story. So I did a consulting day years and years and years ago. It might have been the first 5 I've ever done my whole life. And a guy was in the same space as me. And you're like, wait, Alex, why would you help somebody who's a quote competitor? I don't see the world that way. So guy came in and he was selling the same number of units per month as me. All right. Same number of units per month as me. But I was making 56 times more profit than he was.
Damn.
That means 56 years of him making the amount of money that he made is what I made every year. And so he was making $300,000 a year in profit, and I was making $17 million a year in profit. Same number of units sold per month. And so the major difference is how much we made per customer. And so gross profit is the arms race of business. Because the thing is the person who makes the most money can spend the most money. This is how you get an ethical monopoly. So like, you don't have a monopoly from, okay, I'm somehow protecting no one else can do business. You're saying you're welcome to do business, but I'm going to outspend you on all advertising channels. So for you to get your word out, you're going to have to outbid me. But because I created a better business model, I can outspend you. In the auction of attention, this is a Dan 1080 quote, he who can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. This is my version of the quote, which is what I like my version. He who makes his customer worth more to his business than to his competition wins. I think about this in terms of what can I do? So rather than thinking, oh, I can spend, and I love Dan, to be very clear. He who can spend the most, it's what do I do in order to spend the most? What I do is I make my customer more valuable. The outcome of that input is that I can now spend more. So these are really just 2 parts to the same quote. If this is the precursor to this one, if that makes sense. All right, so that's why this is important. So let me give you an example. So I remember when I was at Smoothie King, I was a blender tender, and my buddy was reading this article in the back of the store, probably goofing off when it probably shouldn't have been. And he was like, dude, check this out. This guy bought a $50,000 burger. And we looked at it and it was like made of gold and whatever crazy Wall Street person bought a $50,000 burger, right?
I wouldn't have bought
and And I was thinking about that. And I remember the article said something like he was making $50 million a year or something like that in income. And so what I ended up doing was I started looking at what it costs him in hours versus what it cost me in hours for the burger that I bought earlier that day. And so then I realized that my $13 burger was the same to me as this Wall Street guy's $50,000 burger, that it was actually the same level of inconsequential cost for him as it was for me. And arguably, this was more expensive for me than it was for him, just a normal burger. And so that concept basically is the reverse of the realization that you can only go down to zero. You can go infinitely high when it comes to lifetime value. And so, like, you can only drive down so far, right, on the cost side. But in terms of how much you can make, that's where you can be as creative as you want in terms to continue to increase the lifetime gross profit.
Now, that message at the bottom, let's let you know that you can try to do the same thing, but it will work differently, but you have to know your market. But this is a very interesting thing to know, and I hope that you guys are taking note because this is going to be important. I got to see this over on Twitch.
And so it can make something as insane as paying $50,000 for a burger or CAC actually still be relatively cheap for you if you know how to increase the value of the customer. And so think of the burgers as the commodity, which is traffic. Think of our income as the lifetime gross profit. If I were competing with this guy, he would be able to outspend me 3,700 times over. And in the auction of attention, he would outbid me every time. And our goal is to do the same to our competitors. All right, so you need to look at both sides, getting customers for less, but also making them worth more. All right, and before we improve it, we got to know how to calculate it. So here's gross profit, how we calculate it. So here's a product example. So if I sell a widget for $100, it costs me $20 to manufacture it and ship the widget to the end customer. All right, so my gross profit is 100, where it is, 100 minus 20, $80. This is what's left over. This is my gross profit. Okay. Here's a service example. Let's say I deliver services monthly and I have one account representative per 10 customers. If my clients pay me $3,000 per month each and my reps cost me $6,000 per month, we can then figure out the gross profit margin. Okay, so the rep salary is $6,000. The clients per rep is 10. The cost per client means it's $600 per client. Remember, we make $6,000 divided by 10 clients, $600 per client. Gross profit, all right, is now $3,000, what they pay us, minus my cost per client, which means $2,400 left over. The reason I'm going through this is that many of you guys watching this are service-based businesses and don't know your costs. These are your costs. So my gross margins are $2,400 divided by $3,000, which is 80%. Rule of thumb from Alex, if you run a service-based business, local brick and mortar or national, you want at least an 80% gross profit margin. Now, that may sound crazy to you, but it is very unlikely that you will scale in service unless you have 80 or higher. So not just 80, that means that if it costs you 100, you got to sell it for 500. Now, you might think, because if you're a newer business owner, you're like, no, that seems unreasonable. That's your gross profit, not your net profit. You still have rent. You've got your fixed admin costs. You've got insurance. You've got utilities. You've got break fix that happens within your business. You've got all these other costs that go into doing business. You're not running 80% net margins. You're just saying, this is now all the money I have left over to run the rest. I still got to spend advertising dollars. Like, there's all this money that I still got to spend. And so if you're at 80, you might be running a 30% net margin business, right? So just to give you context on this. Okay. And so the pro tip is that gross margin equals gross profit times 100%. So if you ever hear me say gross profit versus gross margin, it's just, this is a percentage, this is an absolute. That's all it is. So gross profit's the absolute, gross margin is the percentage. That's all it is. Okay. So if I say it's $80 in gross profit, it's 80% gross margins. I clarify.
Just so you know, we're talking about how you can grow your business. He's talking about gross profits right now. Welcome into the channel. I hope that you're liking it. We're back in
this because if you've ever like read stuff and been like, wait a second, is this different? It's just a different way of measuring the same thing. That's all it is. All right, cool. So big picture, this is what the business was. This is the example I gave visually. This is the correct visual. All right, and you can note that gross profit is not net profit. All right, this is the cost limited to what the business incurs directly from delivering the thing. So if you had an administrative assistant and you sell cups for $10 that cost you $2, we wouldn't factor in your administrative assistant.
I had to also make this point known too. So as we're talking about all of this stuff, we're going through the book that just dropped. That is the $100 million money model. I just want to thank you guys for dropping in. If you can, hit the like button for me. It's absolutely free to you, and it's going to help us to grow. And I'm also offering you guys all of this stuff that's going on in the channel down in the description box. So just tap in with that, guys.
Into the $8 of gross profit. It's off the gross profit that we eventually pay for everything else in the business to create our net profit, aka what's left over at the end of the month. All right, so your rent doesn't go into your gross profit. Your admin costs don't go into your gross profit. Your utilities don't go into your gross profit. It's just the cost of, okay, if I sold another one of these, if I sold another customer, what are the variable costs? What are the costs that go up per unit sold? If your rent doesn't go up per unit sold, if your admin cost doesn't go up per unit sold, then it is not factored into gross profit. But if my hard cost of cups, if I sell another cup, I still have to incur that cost. If I have to sell another client, then a certain portion of my resources of client delivery is going to get allocated to that next client. Now, some people are like, wait, but I have to pay my person either way. Not really. I mean, you do up to 20, and then you have to hire another one. And so you just have to fractionalize it in terms of your thinking. So it may feel fixed, but it's not. You have chunkier start stops more than it's a fixed cost, if that makes sense, when it comes to calculating this. So you're like, okay, got it. I have mine, and mine sucks. So what do I do to improve it? So improving gross profit, there's a lot of ways to increase gross profits. But without altering price or cost structure, the three easiest to remember are more, better, new. All right, which is sell more of the stuff, so more quantity or duration of the thing, so get them to buy in bulk or buy again tomorrow. Sell a better quality version of the thing, so that would be like a regular burger versus an organic burger, or a large group versus personal training, better version of the thing, or sell a new thing. So you fries and a Coke, which then you could supersize on quality as on top of that.
So you see how
that's the quick and dirty. We're going to get into lots of different versions of this. All right, so that is gross profit.
All right, so if you guys are liking this type of thing, let me know, because I'm seeing people are tapping into the stream, but nobody's saying anything. So I just want to know if you're liking it. What would you like to learn about specifically? Because like I said, I'm gonna give you all of the sauce, but we got to kind of communicate, because if you miss anything, like if you missed the last video and you didn't see, like, for example, how to make money, the customer acquisition cost, then you're kind of missing out. But
we talked about the three things for acquisition. So we've got cost to acquire a customer, how much it costs us, gross profit, what we make for what it costs us, and now we go to payback period, which is how fast this all happens. So if you see PPD, just payback period or payback period. I'll probably say it out loud because I don't want to confuse you. All right, so we got the definition, why it's important, examples, and then how to improve it. Let's start with definition. So payback period, how long it takes until gross profit is greater than CAC.
So how long?
In other words, how long does it take to break even?
To give you profits. Yeah.
The shorter it is, the easier it is to scale your advertising. So if I break even in a day versus breaking even in 5 years, it's a lot easier for me to scale, right? Because I get my dollar back tomorrow, then I can spend it again. Some people call this a cash conversion cycle. I probably won't say that again, but just in case you hear it, that's what that means. All right, so that's the definition. Here's the importance. All right, so problem number one. Businesses take too long to break even on getting new customers. And so they have to manage cash flow by making a marketing budget. I think this is silly. We solved that problem. Problem number two is that businesses feel guilty making multiple offers in a row because they think that they bother people. They are wrong. The people who feel this way are poorer than they should be. And that's exactly how buyers buy, by the way, is that there's short windows of time that they go super hyper buying cycle and then they go dormant again. And so if you do not take advantage of this hyper buying cycle when someone makes a new decision or starts a new lifestyle or creates a new identity for themselves, you will miss out, and another business who is intelligent, who makes more money than you, will profit.
So he's just telling you how you get your foot in the door. Heard from. Oh my God.
So
I'm not trying to
friend of mine.
That's how you get your foot in the door with your sales. If you're not understanding, what he's saying is that a lot of people are going to be reluctant to buy. And the best thing you can do is to offer them more things, just like he was talking about in the gross income, or the gross income. You offer more, or you give value in a different way, so that way people are more inclined to buy from your purchase. And then once you get them there, you want to still add value to their lives. So it's very easy to pay attention to this. Like, I hope that you guys are locking in. So he's about to talk about the payback period street bike story.
Business owner decides to lose weight and remembers that they like riding bikes and goes online to buy a bike. All right. Now, this is what happens after she immediately buys a bike. She enters a hyperactive buying mode. She then buys a helmet, she buys shoes, she buys pants, she buys gloves, she buys water bottle, she signs up for a race. You get the idea, all within a day or two. Now, if you were that first bike shop owner and you were like, well, I don't want to offer a helmet, I don't want to offer shoes, I don't want to offer gloves, I don't want to seem pushy. She wants to buy them. She signed up for a race. She's going to buy them. It's just whether she's going to buy them from you or the guy down the street. And there's a very big difference between hard selling and letting a customer know the offers you have available. You're making offers available to them. And if you think about it this way, if someone has a problem and you have the ability to solve it, it's my opinion that ethically you should let them know you can solve it and what it would cost them for you to do it for them.
Listen, this is something that I feel like a lot of businesses started to lose since like the early 2000s, but this is what you could offer somebody an extra, for example, you buy 4 wheels at the store, they offer you a double set or something, or now it's buy 3, get 1 free, but you have the spare left over, you know what I mean? So there's things like this that you have to consider. And if you're just opening up that shop and you offered all of these things to her, just the advertisement alone from her going on the race, triple X is the offer that you gave. Just let's say she wins the race. That's 100X. If she's like the underdog in the race, even better. It's a story behind it.
Make them aware. If they say no, no problem, fine. But at least tell them, make the offer. Because you sell 0% of people who don't know you have something to sell. You are making offers. They can choose to take them or not. And if you believe in what you sell solves a problem, then solve more problems. Yes, it's cool. No, also not. Also not cool. Yes, also cool. All right, so that's the importance. So let's do a quick example.
If they accept or
payback
if they
periods.
don't accept.
So if it costs you $160 to acquire a customer, CAC, and you sell a widget for $100 a month, that costs you $20, gross profit, so $80. What's your payback period? We make $100 from the person who buys their first month. Our gross profit's $80 because we have to have $20 that are off for cost of goods. So that means that I spent $160, but I made $100 back, but I had another cost of $20 for my cost of goods, so I have $80 left over. Sorry, I'm down 80, month 1. All right? So let's look at month 2. Month 2, I didn't have my cost to acquire the customer. I still have my cost to deliver. I make my 100 minus my 20 cost to deliver. I have another 80. So now I'm at 0. Okay, so month 2 is my break-even month. So what's my payback period?
Month 3.
2 months. Also, to be really clear here, if it costs you $160 to acquire a customer, some people are like, it takes me 1.5 months to break even here because they see $100 in revenue. They say, oh, it's 1.5 months. You have to take out your cost of goods in the payback period. If it costs me $9 in meals and I sell $10 for the meal, I make $1. I can't say, oh, they paid me $20. It cost me $20. I break even in 2 months. You have to do it off gross profit. All right. So here's how to improve it. You can make them more, better, or new offers. And here's the key part, in the first 30 days. And the key part is to do it at the right moment. The reason that somebody will not take an upsell from you is because you did it the wrong way or at the wrong time or you described it poorly or they're the wrong person, right? And so let me give you this supplement sale example. This is just a zone in on timing, presenting it at the right time. So I say this because some of you might have an amazing upsell offer. You're just presenting it not when the problem exists, all right, or creates itself. So I tried to sell supplements after people bought services from me and it didn't work. Now I could give you a whole bunch of theories around that. Someone comes in saying they want to lose weight and I say, awesome, let's get you signed up. And then right then after they signed up, I say, oh, by the way, buy these supplements. And you might think, wait, isn't that a hyper buying cycle? It's my belief that the person scratched their itch of weight loss the moment I sold them the service package. And now I'm like trying to reopen a closed wound, kind of. It's like, wait, I
think I got a better way to explain it. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like having gotten, so for example, you go to insert any fast food restaurant and you're getting your typical meal, something that you like. And then as soon as they serve you your meal, they're like, oh my God, you know that we have the new XYZ burger like he was talking about, or the new chicken chalupa, anything like that. And they're like, oh, would you want that? And you're like, bro, I just got my order. Granted, you might still be hungry, but you're like, I already got food. Like, you want me to wait longer for y'all to make that? It's not happening.
Just solve that problem, right? So what I figured out was I would say, hey, come in for a nutrition orientation. And then 48 hours later, they come in for nutrition orientations. And then I would walk through their food. And so with the food, then I would say, oh, you're not eating these things. You should probably add this stuff in. I created a new problem, which I could then solve with supplements. And so the thing is that you want to be able to offer it at the right time. You sell at the point of greatest deprivation, not at the point of greatest satisfaction. Or really, like,
when people need it the most, not when they don't.
Advanced people know what I just said. Beginners, please hear that again. You sell at the point of greatest deprivation, at the point of greatest pain, not at the point of greatest satisfaction. If I just had a big steak dinner, and then you say, do you want another steak? You might have amazing steak. I don't need any more steak. I'm satisfied. And a lot of you guys are trying to make your upsell offer after I already ate a steak. Now, I might have a dessert stomach that's open, but my steak stomach is full. So we create deprivation. We make offers at the moment of deprivation. If somebody's really thirsty in the desert, after you give them the cup of water, they don't want the second cup as much as they wanted the first one. So the timing matters. Okay. So these are the times that I think through when I tend to incorporate upsells. And this is important for decreasing payback period. So one is right immediately after the first sale. Sometimes this works great. So to be clear, if I'm selling, if I solved one problem that then naturally creates the next problem, immediately upselling works. If you have to create another kind of problem in someone's head or guide them through awareness, then that's where you have what I call the next step. So the version I just gave you with the orientation, the nutrition orientation, that's like, great, that's the next step in the process. So this is usually a 24, 48, 72 hour difference between first sale and next step. The next time period where I think about selling a customer or upselling is after they have a big win. This is a milestone. Someone says, they have some big success. Now you're like, wait, I thought you said that you sell at the point of greatest deprivation. Yes. So if they have a big success, then it means we fully solved one problem, which typically means a fully formed new problem also opened. So great, you got to $10,000 a month. You probably have all these tax problems now. And you probably need employees to help you take all this time, because now that you're working all the time and you're making this money, you probably don't have time. You have money but not time. So let me solve the next problem for you, right? And so there's always, if you're a good entrepreneur, you're always solving problems. And fully solved problems always create more problems. After they have a big win, then I like to think about the halfway point. This is just me historically seeing that people at a halfway point tend to be very open to upselling. And finally, I call this the last chance. Now, if you're like, wait a second, at the end of a period with the customer is the last chance, not when I should upsell? Yeah. If you haven't upsold them here, so many of you guys are trying to make your upsell at the end of the first thing. You've already lost it. Like, this is your last shot. You missed all of the other times that you're supposed to sell them. And notice, 4 out of the 5 are before the halfway point.
Okay.
So you're losing out. So I can almost guarantee, well, I'll say this way, I have never not had this work. So I can't guarantee it, but I've never not had it work.
Do you guys understand that? If you're tapping in, please hit that like button. It's absolutely free. If you're not understanding, these are key inflection points for when you want to start trying to sell to people. And this is honestly just having a good rapport, but it's a very good model for you to manage your sales team and make sure that your sales are constantly being pushed. I'm gonna let it rock.
When you're upselling people or attempting to upselling, because I already know you're probably failing at it, if you move it forward in the sales process, in my opinion, you have an incomplete buying cycle. So I don't want to reopen something. I want to just ride the one I'm already on. It's like, hey, you're halfway through. Let's keep the party going. Hey, you're doing great. Let's keep it going. Let's add this other piece of service on. Hey, let's get you there faster, right? Let's decrease your risk around this. Let's get you more support, whatever it is, right? We want to keep the party going. I don't want to finish my service package and then have to be like, okay, now that you've completed our first, service of work, let's talk about working together again. It's like, I'm good with what you gave me before. I'm pretty happy with that. This is cool. All right. So there's the 5 times I think about selling.
Okay.
Now, again, make more better new offers the first 30 days. These are the 5. So immediately in the same conversation or conversion event. Next step is 24 to 72 hours. First big win. This means you focus on getting them fast wins so that you then create new problems that you can then solve. Halfway point. This is just, I'm telling you, it just has worked. So I'll just throw it out there. I give you some scientific whatever thing, but I just know it works. And then last chance is the exit interview, right? And this is only useful for payback periods if it's within the first 30 days. But pretty much all of these ones apply most of the times within the first 30 days of the customer coming in. These are some easy ways to do this. You can have somebody pay first and last month today, or you can add an initial.
And just pausing for a moment. So we're doing the $100 million money models. We just got the book. Book just dropped on the doorstep today. So we're making sure that everybody gets involved so that way they can grow and scale their business to this right here. We are not playing around. Everybody that's actually tapped in, you will be making your way to $100 million. And I appreciate you for coming in. Make sure you hit the like button. Again, it's absolutely free to you guys. And let's get back into it.
Initiation fee, an onboarding fee, an enrollment fee, or an activation fee, or make up whatever fee you want. You too can have this power. You just add that on. So if I wanted to improve that one I had earlier, if I didn't want to wait 2 months, I would say, great, we pay first and last. That's how we've always done it. And then I could offset. Now notice the fee is all gross profit. So now I'm actually up 80 on my first transaction. And now I've got half the cost to get a new customer already back in my pocket before I even have the next payment 30 days later. So every 2 customers buys me another one before even having to wait for the recurring to hit. All right. And this is how you really scale. This is just one structure. There's a gazillion that I'm going to show you. All right. So we went from 2 months to 1.5, all right, within 30 days. All right. So that's how you improve it. And that is about shortening payback period, making money faster.
Let's go. Okay, now we're talking about how much the cost of advertising is, yeah.
So we just triangulated the cost to acquire customers, gross profit, and payback period. That is what creates client finest acquisition. And I want to unleash the 3 levels of advertising. This is also not in the book for you. All right, so client finest acquisition, or CFA, the 3 levels of advertising. So this is how I would describe 3 levels of advertising for you as a business owner. So let's start with level 1. This is where lifetime gross profit is greater than the cost to acquire customer. This is the duh level. All right. So you've got to make more money than it costs you to make it over the lifespan of the customer. Ideally, at least 3 times more. So what it costs you to make the money, how much money you make. Fundamentally, that's it. If you don't have that, then you don't have a business. So you need at least this to be
you need revenue that
can make money.
I don't know who thinks that they can have a business without revenue. They think nonprofits
30-day
don't make
gross
money.
profit.
They make
not
money.
Lifetime. Notice the big difference here is the time difference.
Hold on. How many people in the chat right now think that nonprofits don't make money? Drop a 1 in the chat if you don't think nonprofits make money. Because I got a secret to tell y'all. If y'all don't know, there's a nonprofit y'all wouldn't even believe that make hella money. Nobody? I'm checking chats, y'all. I'm going to tell you. Rolex. Y'all hear me? Rolex is a nonprofit organization. Look it up if you don't believe
This
me.
is forever.
Look it up.
And this is the first month. All right. Is greater than CAC. I'll explain why the first month is so important in a second. All right. So we want to make more money than it costs you to make it in 30 days. And so the result, this is the key part, is that you never spend your own money to grow. And so why is 30 days the number? Because that's the amount of time that any business can borrow money with 0 interest in the form of a credit card or credit lines. Many businesses, banks will even give you interest-free credit lines for 30, sometimes 60, sometimes 90 days, depending on, your relationship with the bank, how much money it is, whatever. But at least every business can get 30-day interest-free money. And so that means that the way the financial system exists right now, at least in America, you can get money and not pay for it as long as you pay it back in a month, which means that my objective for you, because I've always operated on, I've owned everything and I haven't sold equity and I haven't taken on debt to grow all my businesses, and I've been able to grow them absurdly fast relative to the marketplace. I'll just say it like that. And the way that we've been able to do it is because I take the money that I have access to and I can take as much as I possibly can as long as I figure out a way to pay it back in that first month. all right? And so you can use the credit card to get your customers, then pay the card back, then reuse the money, recycle the cash, and get another customer. All right. And as long as your gross profit in the first 30 days is greater than the cost to get them, you can never carry debt while growing your business, which is a sizable advantage. So this is what level 2 advertising would look like. So 30 days gross profit. So that means that, like, if I got that first customer, right, if it cost me 160 to get the customer and I got 180 back in gross profit, then it's just all free. It's just all free. That's how it works. And so note is that if you have an XXX limit on your credit card, you'll always be limited by the amount of customers that XXX number buys you before having to pay it back. And so this assumes that you don't reinvest the excess profits after the 30 days on marketing rather than putting it in your pocket. Okay. So once you unlock acquisition this way.
Do you guys understand that? If anybody's not understanding the way to acquisition, please let me know in the chat so that we can explain it to you. But essentially what he's saying is get the ability to obtain large amount of money, have a stable plan to receive money back, and then be able to pay it off, but never pay more in advertisement than you plan to make back. That doesn't make any sense.
Typically, you will get limited by your operational constraints before you will get limited by your advertising constraints. You will not be able to handle the amount of customers that you can bring in, and that's what's going to throttle down your advertising more than you can't get more customers. So that's level 2, is that now your 30-day gross profit is greater than your CAC, which means you're just getting free customers now. Level 3 is where I like to live, which is that my 30-day gross profit is greater than 2 times the cost of getting a customer. Okay? So pay attention to what happens here. So you make gross profit more than twice CAC in the first 30 days. And the result is never being limited by money at all. Remember, the first version of this is like I'm limited by the amount of credit card that I can have access to. With this, there are no limits. And this is the goal of everything that I'm going to basically go through the rest of this training with you. All right. And so this way, one customer pays you back for the debt you have, but then also pays for the next customer. So you basically just repay your original spend one time, and then you have enough money to buy another customer. And then that customer comes again with 2 customers preloaded into it. And so then you pay itself back and then the next one. And then that is how you continue to multiply. And now you're using house money, to use a gambling term. It's like you've already repaid yourself back on the first one, but you still have this extra cash. You buy the next guy, he comes with 2. And now you're just doubling. And the thing is you're doubling your rate of acquisition by customer, not by month, which means this can happen daily in terms of the doubling. All right. And this is the key to unlimited scale for advertising. You have to compound your advertising.
And if you guys don't know anything about advertising, even if you take this base level thing, you can get your exact metrics from a Facebook advertisement, YouTube advertisement, Google. I mean, those are pretty much all the same sphere. But if you advertise TikTok, all these places have a place where you can pay to promote, right? Most people think about it only, oh, well, I can get more people to watch. Why do you need more people to watch? If you have a message, if you have a story that you're trying to tell, you can sell. Like, for example, myself, right? I've been doing photography, videography for over 15 years. It sounds crazy, but I had a passion for it in high school. A young friend of mine who is no longer with us, RIP, and rest in peace to my good brother, Khalifa Muhammad. But I stayed true to this thing for all this time, not because I had some notion to sell something to you, but now I see that I have an expertise that a lot of you guys will never probably get to because you're so quick to rely on filters from Instagram or just click and go, take hundreds of pictures. But I want to stop all of that. You don't need to waste all this memory in your phone. You don't need to waste all that time. And you just need to have, just like Alex is talking about, a structure, and you'll be easily able to make this type of content over and over and over again, as long as you got a plan.
As
long as you got a plan.
And so this is what it would look like if you just reinvested on a 30-day loop instead of a daily loop. This is to say, like, you get them in today and you have 2 or 3 upsells, whatever it is, within 30 days, and you get twice the cash back in that 30-day period. Well, I got 1 customer this month using that cash, and next month I've got 2, next month 4, next month 8 or whatever it is. Yeah, I think that's 8. Yes, 8. And the next one's 16. It would be you know, all the way up there. All right, more than I can visually display. And so this is what it actually looks like math-wise. All right, so actually, I think I removed this from the book too. But within a year of reinvesting your advertising profit, this is a key point, is if you have to reinvest the advertising profits to getting new customers, the advertising is obviously no longer a bottleneck in your business. And this is what this book accomplishes, removing money as a limit for your growth. And so that's why I write this, because for every person, it's like, I need money to make money.
Everybody does. Every single person does.
You need to have more skills. Somebody who has fewer skills needs more money. So look at the math here. Month 1 to month 12. 1 customer, 2 customers, 4, 8, 12. This is just a 2 multiplied out. And then here's where it gets wild. This is new customers per month. This is total customers. So I'm ending the year with 4,000 customers. If you just make twice what it cost you to acquire a customer in gross profit in the first 30 days, and you reinvested all of that into getting more customers. And so you can end the year at 4,000 plus existing customers with that framework. By the way, this is exactly what we're doing with school.com. This is how we're going crazy growth right now. So make gross profit more than twice CAC within 30 days. This is where we want to go. And to be clear, to achieve this level of advertising, 2x is the minimum. You can by all means get 3x, 5x, 10x. You can get 10 customers loaded with every customer. And the money just multiplies faster. All right. And so I'll tell you this brief story, but if you want to know what my return was for Gym Launch in the first year, I had a 100 to 1 return in advertising. Yes, 100 times. And so I spent 100 grand and made 10 million. The limit to that business then and now was market size and our operational capacity to scale service, not our ability to profitably acquire customers. And that's what I want for you. And that's what this book accomplishes. And that's what I've had in virtually every business since my first gyms. And the thing is that I think most people move on from this part too soon, rather than saying like, no, we have to make it better until we can get this thing to work for free. Then you move on. And the main reason was we had a better money model. Level 3, check.
Okay.
So you were here for the money models training. We just finished the 3 levels of advertising. Now we begin to talk about money models.
So we're going to see the actual money models now. I have about 45 minutes left with you guys, so I hope that you guys are tapping in. Let me know in the comments if you are ready to make money, because I'm tired of them broke boys. Yo, who is this She Show? Cheap viewers. Listen, I don't need to buy viewers, my guy. I got a community, people watching. I don't purchase views, but you're speaking to the folks that ain't got no views. If you want somebody to do stream views, stream boo, people. You need to pay me for advertisement, She Show. Don't be saying shit. You ain't sending no affiliate links. All right, you guys. Are you down to watch the next one? I don't know what people are doing. I got like 12 people watching. It says it's all over the place. Got a few of y'all on Facebook, a couple of y'all on YouTube here, Twitch. I didn't go on TikTok today.
So we just covered the 3 levels. Let's rock into money models and offer stacks. All right. So you will notice throughout this whole training that some of the things are a little bit different from the book, and that's done on purpose because I like to think through things differently in different mediums. All right, because I can say things here that I couldn't normally say in the book. So we'll go definition, rental car story, and the gym launch example. All right, so a money model is a series of offers. That's it. The reason I had to start with the offers book before talking about the money model book is that an offer is 1 unit. A money model is sequencing these things, is putting them in a series of offers deliberately to maximize gross profit collected in the first 30 days. So I will say this all together. A money model is a series of offers. A good money model, which is the objective of this book or this training, is a series of offers structured to minimize CAC, how much it costs to get a customer, maximize gross profit, how much they pay you, collected in the first 30 days, how fast they pay you. That's the point. So I'll tell you a story. So we've all seen a money model happening. Some of you guys just didn't know it was happening to you. So I remember this crazy example of one time I was going to Colorado for some reason. Went to Colorado. I line up. I'm like on my phone waiting in line for a couple minutes, and then they pull me up to the rental car counter, right? And the lady was like, "Hi there," very like chipper. I just remember a big chipper. Anyways, and so she asked me a number of questions as she's going through the rental car process. So she says, "Hello, sir. Can I have your ID so I can look up your reservation?" And so I'm barely looking for my phone. I'm like, "Yeah, here you go." And so she, extends her hand, smiling. And I've been waiting for a few minutes, right? So I just wanted to get in my car. So I hand my ID. Cool. So then, and I'm at that counter. You can see like I'm kind of like leaning over. And so does it look like we have the car that you reserved? Are you okay with a Tundra? It's red. And so I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine, whatever. And so I'm not really paying attention. And then she says, okay, I've got you down for 3 days. Would you like to have a late return so you don't have to worry about late fees or turn-in time? If you're in a rush to get to your plane flight. So she asked her head, kind of like with her head cocked. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's fine. Flexibility is good. And so she was like, okay, great. So give me a second, just putting that in. Would you like to upgrade your insurance to cover any bumps and scratches in the car? It covers any and all damage that occurs in the vehicle during your stay. And so I was like, no, I'm good. I have no plans on drag racing, right? It's ha ha ha. And she's like, okay, so just the minimum insurance then? And I said, yeah, that's fine. I barely looked up, right? I'm just like going through this.
So if you guys aren't understanding, this is the way that you kind of include the sale and add extra things in without people really thinking about it. And this is how it happens to you without you even thinking about it.
So I want to take the car. And she's like, okay, then I have your keys ready in a second. Do you want to prepay for your fuel so you don't have to worry about filling it up? You can return it on empty and not have to worry about paying it. We fuel gas at $3.75 a gallon. And I was like, well, what's gas cost around here? And she was like $3.50. And I was like, 25 cents, per gallon. Yeah, sure. That checks out. That works. And so I was like, so an extra $2.50. I was like, well, that sounds reasonable. That's not a big deal. I don't have to worry about it. So boom, sign me up for it. I'll prepay the gas. And so she says, alrighty then, well, here's your ID. Can you sign here for me? Great. There's your receipt. On the back, I circled the parking space. Just go around the corner and past the restroom sign. Go past the first 3 columns and you'll see the J space on your left. Your Tundra should be about halfway down. Enjoy your trip. All right. And so, mind you, right, I take my thing, I'm walking away, right? And I look at my receipt and I just paid $400 for a 3-day rental when I had reserved online for $19 a day. And I was like, I went from $19 a day to $400. What had just happened? A well-engineered money model. And I remembered that moment and I was like, I need to write this down. This is the perfect example of what it looks like to create a money model. A series of offers structured sequentially to monetize the customer and provide as much value as humanly possible. So if we think through each of the upsells, she first upgraded my car from a Toyota Yaris to a Toyota Tundra by saying that my reservation wasn't there. Now, in my life, I've never had the car that I've reserved actually available. I don't know if some of you guys said, I feel like I've never actually had the car that I asked for there. So this is the classic Seinfeld joke. He's like, oh no, I think you know how to take the reservation, but you don't know how to hold the reservation. And that's the main part of the reservation, right? And so we went from, and just from that, I went from $19 a day to $69 a day. Right? Now, she solved my big guy in a small car problem by offering it. Now, did they probably have another Yaris-like vehicle? Probably. She just made the offer, and I said yes. Second one she did was late checkout. So this would add a half day or a one-time fee to my reservation. Now, I can't remember if I declined the offer. But the point is that they made this fee up to begin with. This is the main part of this, is that the idea of late checkout only exists because they decide that if you check out past a time that they made up arbitrarily is now late. And so what I want to really put into your minds right now is that I'm explaining the policies, but there's a game maker who made the rules of the game. They created this fee. Think about if you start rental cars, you don't immediately say, oh, if someone comes back an hour later, I'm going to charge them. We think that now because that's how it's always been, but it wasn't always like that. Some guy figured it out, and then every other rental car started doing it. The next one was the insurance upgrade. Now, a lot of you guys saw me not take this, but I did take insurance. I didn't even realize it, and I used this for everything after this point. And so she said, do you want to upgrade your insurance? Now, implied in the language is that I already have insurance.
Okay.
By saying, do you want to upgrade your insurance? And so some customers will take the upgrade, which is fine. But the real sale is the minimum package. She then said, oh, would you just want the minimum then? You don't want anything else, do you? Those are implied sales. Do you want anything else besides the thing I just said? The minimum offer, meaning you have to get it because it's minimum. But the thing is that you don't have to buy it. A lot of, by the way, credit cards already have rental car insurance built in. If you have Amex, for example, and you do trips on Amex, they cover rental car insurance. And so this is pure profit for them. All right. So pro tip for you. But the thing is, and this is the really sexy thing, is that this is masterful naming. So if you have multiple packages, you can downsell your minimum package knowing that 90% of people might take it simply because you called it the minimum package. Instead of saying, hey, this is my shitty package, think about how different minimum is versus economy package, right? Minimum is like, well, okay, I have to get it, right? Kind of interesting. All right. So the next one is prepaid gas. Now this one was sneaky in that the way it's positioned, to be very clear, you want to make sure the customer understands things. All right. Now this one particularly was one that I did the math and I thought it was like, okay, 25 cents extra per gallon. That's a fine deal. The way it actually works, by the way, is you prepay the whole tank. So you buy a full tank, and I think the Tundra had like, whatever, 25 gallons in it. So I actually ended up paying $93 for a tank of gas up front. And so basically whatever I don't use is profit for them. And so if I use half a tank, not only did I charge 25 cents more for the gallon, but the half tank I didn't use is just extra, it's extra profit for them. Right. But the advantage is when you turn it in, you don't have to fill it up so think about this. They create a fee to avoid a fee. Because if you imagine I had a rental car company, I could just say, turn the car in with whatever amount of gas you have and I fill the car back up. And that could just be factored into my price.
That's sick work. Y'all just heard that, right? That's how they be playing, y'all. You get charged the fee so that the business doesn't have to pay a fee. And that's how these businesses are making billions of dollars. So they say, oh, do you want to prepay for gas? Because if you come back with half a tank, they have a free, let's just slash that in half, $93 slashed in half. What is it, y'all? You know, what? Like 50, let's say like $57, right? I'm rounding. So around $57, and they just got away with highway robbery because you just gave them $50 for free. Nothing is included. You don't get any extra perk for that or nothing.
But instead, or I could just say, we fill it up at this rate. Whatever you don't fill up, we'll fill it up and we'll charge your card afterwards. That would be an easy way to do it. But instead they say, we're going to charge you more. We charge you $5 a gallon or $10 a gallon if you turn the car in with less than full gas. If you turn the car in with less than full gas, but then you prepay the whole tank, then you still bought the whole tank to avoid paying the fee that they're then also still going to fill the car back up again. Again, like I say this so that you can understand the thought process that went into structuring the sales process. Like there's a reason these guys do billions a month in sales. And for those of you who are like, man, I don't like this, the rental car industry wouldn't exist. They actually run very thin margins. Like there's, you know what I mean? Like it's not like they're raking it in here. There's people who crash the car. There's a lot of other costs that go into renting a car. And so for you, you cannot shy away from capitalism. I mean, if you want to be a business owner, you have to make a profit in order to be able to scale your business, to help more people. And if they did not make this profit, it would be a wild inconvenience for us. Now, Uber then exists later, much later, that can sort of help. But still, having a rental car company there is nice. Okay. Finally, there's damages. That's an implicit upsell. If you scratch the car, you got to pay. All right. And then late return, yet again, they invented the line, then we had to pay for it. Okay. And so these are all the offers that they offered to me in that one conversation. And so for those of you who are afraid of making a second and third and fourth and fifth offer, did it seem like I was annoyed? Not really. And also, what is the price I have to pay as a business owner? What do I get? If the cost is that 1 out of 20 customers gets upset, 1 out of 20 people is just crazy, period. If you deal with general population, for those business owners who do, I came from Gen Pop, so I get it.
That's a lot.
There's just crazy people. And you don't want to not make offers to 19 out of 20 sane people because of one crazy person.
Yeah.
And so the cost would be maybe you don't have a business or you don't make a profit, or you have 1 out of 20 people who complain. To me, the trade is clear and I'm still going to make the trade.
That's like doing any internet streaming, guys. Like I said, if y'all want to tap in with the content creator, tap in with that. And I just thought about it. So I also have a free e-travel book for you guys. If you want to travel for free, you want to go wherever you want to be able to have that freedom, tap in with that. It's in the Beacons link. And believe me, you get a wealth of information. You don't have to pay anything. You just got to tap the link. All right, let's jump back.
You walk away by the end of this book and training with eyes tuned to finding money models. All right, and understanding what makes them work. And studying some of the biggest brands in the world will become an endless learning experience for you, which is what I absolutely recommend is look at their money models. If someone's been around 30 years in the same industry, they have figured it out. Look at what they do. And the cool thing is you can take things from rental cars and apply it to insurance. You can take things from here and apply it to teeth whitening. Like, it doesn't matter. You take this from here and turn it to plumbing. Like, these models are more psychology in terms of how they work and are persuasive than they are industry specific.
Right. Why do people want to keep tapping in with this
Gym
thing?
launch, just to give you an idea, when we went from $1,000 in my bank account to $17 million in profit in 20 months. So remember, December 2016, $1,000 in my bank account. 20 months later, $17 million in profit. The only way that happens is through having a money model. And it only scaled insanely fast because of our insane customer finance acquisition. So remember level 3, it should say level 3, is 2 times CAC, right? It should say level 3. Okay? So these were our actual metrics. So people don't share this. These were the actual metrics. Is that our 30-day gross profit was $6K.
Well,
our CAC was $500. Our 12-month gross profit was $48,000. CAC, $48,000. CAC. So if I have an investment for you and you pay me $500 and I pay you $48,000 back at the end of the year, is that a good investment? Now, what if I said you can do it as many times as you want? You would put as much money into that machine as you possibly could. Now, the real question is, what's your budget? If I said, I've got this ATM machine, you put $500 in and then $48,000 comes out, would you budget yourself? Would you say, hey, I'm only spending $5,000 a month on this? Of course you wouldn't. That's why the idea of marketing budget is ridiculous. If you design a properly designed money model, you can outmake the budget. And then the budget doesn't matter. The point is to spend as much as you possibly can within KPI. KPI meaning key performance indicators. All right. And so our 30-day GP to CAC was 12 to 1. So within 1 month, if I spent $500, I got $6,000 back in the first month. So I'm making money. And so this was like the offer stack for Gym Launch. So front is we had a free book, Lead Magnet podcast. That was the front end. All right, so we got people into our world to see what we were about. Then the second offer we had was a free strategy call to apply the stuff that they learned here into their business. So we'd say, hey, and the way that we did this was we said, listen, leave your card at home. We want to help you out. And if it's a good fit, we'll invite you to another call. That way it was low pressure. I'd say, leave your card, don't worry about it. Then we'd do the second call, and then we'd offer the $16,000 thing, which was $16,000, fill your gym intensive. So that was our premium offer with very attractive payment terms. So they could put $1,000 down.
This is a good fact right here,
which no one did.
If you
and to this day, to my knowledge, no one else ever has
the offer. You want to sell the secrets
because we actually made them money. And so most gyms couldn't afford the $16,000, most of them, but we could make them more than $16,000 in their first month, and then they would pay for it. So I just want to get as many people to say yes because I knew we could crush it for them.
That's good.
Now, offer 3 was the supplement selling secrets course or training. This was free. All right, that was cool about this. So it was free. All we had to do was get them to buy products. We'd give them the training for free, and then we would get them to sell the products. When I say get them to, I just we explained how they would make more money selling these products and why they were specifically made for gyms. And so I had price protection that no other company would offer. They got to use basically backdoor links for their customers so that they were the good guys rather than me being the good guy. So one of the things that I hated about other brands was I would sell at this price, but they would compete against me online. So I would get them the customer and then the customer would switch to them. And I hated that. And so as a gym owner, because I'm paying for this cost, I'm just transferring over to another brand. That feels bad. And so what we did was we said, we're going to be priced here online. You can offer this price in store, and then that way people will always keep buying from you. So I made that advantage, and obviously we just made the economics work for us on the back end. And that's how the supplement company started the first month doing $1.7 million a month, because we actually solved the problem for gyms. They didn't have to carry inventory. We would do it. We allowed them to sell subscriptions because we would deliver on it. So we solved all these problems that I wish I had had as a gym owner. I made a company that would solve it. And so then the fourth thing we did was you did a free feedback call. So this was basically saying, okay, you're halfway through, you're 8 weeks in. Let's talk about, where you're at, how much money did you make? Cool. So what we did was a free with commitment offer, which is something that we'll talk about in the 4th section of this training, which is continuity offers. And so basically what we would say is, hey, you have 16 weeks, you're 8 weeks in, say yes now, and I'll give you all the stuff that you're gonna get over the next 3 years if you say yes today. And you'll just keep paying your existing thing. So you're just gonna get more for nothing. And then the end of the 6 weeks, or so end of the 8 weeks, the next 8.
So
right,
now he's talking about continuity. Pretty much what y'all pay on subscriptions.
Next 8, it'll just revert.
So this is how you get people, you lead them into subscriptions, you guys.
Into this cheaper billing that you get for a longer period of time. And so they were currently paying $1,000 a week. They would say yes, get more value, not pay more, keep going, and at the end it would fall down to a lower rate. And all that the objective of this bonus was to get them to agree to continuity on the back. Specifically, a higher level of continuity, because we had a kind of built-in continuity, which was super cheap. That was like, I think $500 a month, something like that. But what we wanted them to get to was the $3,200 a month level that the upsell offered. So that's how we got so many people to say yes. And to be fair, that's how we did it for years. No, it doesn't have to be complicated. If anything, simple scales. So you want to have as few offers as possible that allow you to make the most gross profit possible in the shortest amount of time. All right. So understanding how to do this can change your business forever. So that is fundamentally examples of money models and what a money model is. Great. Kaboom.
Kaboom.
Now we talk about the four types of offers that create money models to begin with.
Y'all still with me? I hope y'all still with me, because we going in. We going in. That wasn't. We going in. What you know about going in? Y'all be up in there going in.
4 types of offers that create a money model. Let's dive in. So number 1 is how we broke the gym industry, and then we'll go into the 4-pronged money model, the 4 components, the 4 types of offers that exist. All right? So how
let's
we broke the gym
go.
industry. So I used to get gyms full. So what I just talked about earlier was my model at gym launch. But what created this, and the reason I'm telling you this story is to show you how many different industries this structure of creating a good money model works in. And so I used to open gyms at full capacity on day 1. And so this is a video. This was my first, this ad made me $10 million. So it was sick. I was 26 and it was awesome. It is how you would imagine it sounded. Honestly, it did feel like it was something I was doing was illegal. I found out later it's completely legal to advertise and make money. It just, sometimes the stars align. And so what I would do is I would go into a neighborhood, and this one I did 191 signups in 19 days at $500 a pop. And this is me holding up all the $500
So it's just telling you, if you advertise, you will do returns on it, but you have to make sure that you're aligning it with your niche and whatever idea you are. So he rolled out the gym, getting it full capacity at day 1 by having advertisement and having people come in and having a rush sale.
Contracts that I sold like in the middle of nowhere. All right. And so this is the old way that gyms worked. And the reason I'm outlining this is because this might be how your business works. And in the gym industry, this is what all the gurus at the time were teaching. It was something that they called the LBO model, which has nothing to do with leverage buyouts. An LBO model in the gym world was a low barrier offer. All right. So it's like trials, super discount things. But the thing is I talked about earlier having a discount thing as the front end, but then they didn't have anything else to sell. So the discount stuff works, but you got to have the thing to sell to make your money back. But this is how it used to work. So the old way that people did low barrier offers was that they would run trials. So they'd run $19 months, $21, 21 days, things like that. And so right off the bat, if you had 10 people walk in the door, 2 would not buy. So now you got 8 left who buy a trial or buy the discount offer at $29, $19, $21, whatever. Now, this guy doesn't convert, this guy doesn't convert, this guy doesn't convert, this guy doesn't convert, this guy doesn't convert. We get 3 because the industry average is 35% of trials would convert. So not 35% of people who showed up, 35% of people who started the trial. So being generous on this one,
somebody
3 out of the 8
they keep
continue
going
on. All right. So this is what the math looks like. So 30 days later, our total gross profit is $600. Our revenue per show up is $60. Our revenue per trial is $75. Okay. This is what we did. So we would get 10 people in the door. Now we would know, now we closed fewer off the bat, but we would sell to goal. So we'd get one person to take a $2K package, the majority of the other ones to take $500 type program, and then somebody taking half that distance of the $2,000 person. All right. So that's layer one. Then we would upsell meals because they're going to want to have food. Then we would upsell supplements, on average $85 of gross profit per person, not revenue, gross profit. And then we'd get these two people to commit to a year after their duration of their program. And then we'd get them to prepay for the year with another discount on the back. And you could do all of this in 30 days. And so our total gross profit was $96.44. Remember the old one? 600? $96.44?
This is how you can 10x
Revenue
your
per
business,
show, $960 compared to 60. Revenue per close, $19.28 in the first 28 days. This is how we broke the gym industry. When I say broke, I really just mean fixed. We fixed the acquisition model. And so that's the math comparison. And so with the new way, my gyms could outspend gyms doing the old way 25-1. It wasn't even like coming to a fist fight with a knife. It was coming to a fist fight with a B-52 bomber. Like, we weren't even on the ground. We were just dropping bombs. Like, there was no way to compete. And a lot of big franchises didn't catch up and basically went out of business or became just like ghosts. Like, people just didn't renew, and they're just kind of like they fizzled out and faded. And so, like, this is also a message to the people who do lead industries. I was a young kid, and I had this model.
Look at
and
these
the
models,
right
y'all.
move that
Make
they
sure
should have
y'all-
done competitively was
What's
take
happening?
all my shit and immediately disseminate it. That would have been the right move. That's what Zuck did with Snapchat, and they had their stories. He just immediately like, oop, I'm gonna take that, distribute it immediately. But instead, they postured against and were like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, and then we ended up just destroying them. Because the math's the math. Like, you cannot like that you didn't innovate it, but you can't execute on it. And so one thing that I also want to break in terms of perspective here
You talking
is
about
that
Facebook,
as much as
Mark
you may not like
Zuckerberg.
it, a business model is not patentable. It's not IP. An offer that you may create, a great headline, a free 6-week challenge, not IP. Anyone can advertise an offer. And so it's a double-edged sword in terms of learning this power, because it is a speed game. Because basically, you want to advertise this stuff, you want to rip as much money out as you can before the rest of the world catches up. And then guess what happens when the rest of the world catches up? You do it again. You innovate the model again. And so there's always going to be followers, and there's always going to be leaders. But the thing is, the leaders get to make 80% of the profits, because by the time everyone else catches up, we already pillaged the land using a more,
That's what they talk about with
violent
this AI
terminology.
and stuff. So make sure y'all tap in for
seeded
that.
and farmed the land. And
Because listen, I'm gonna be teaching y'all how to do this AI. We got an AI prompting course coming up too. That one is gonna be paid. It's not gonna be free, but I will be having a free email letter, which kind of gives you like the oversight and some tips and tricks inside of that. So tap in with my beacon so that way, you can do it. What's good, Gus? Yo, I'm trying to teach y'all how to get this money. How you feeling, bro? You out there? You still out there in Thailand, bro? I'm about to be out there soon. Listen, you see this, bro? This is how I'm about to be making my way. I hope that you tap in so that way I can make sure you got your funds. Because by the time I get back out there to Thailand and we see our boy, we got to be up, bro. I'm trying to run through a lot of stuff and make sure that everybody is good. So I'm gonna pop this video back on. I'm only gonna be on here for another 20 minutes, but it's good to see you, my guy, Gus. I think you about to don't get locked in like that.
reap the fruit of the land that it gave us.
Are you back home?
Okay. So
when you heading back? My bad, y'all. I'm sorry, everybody who's been in here this whole time. Gus, when you going back out there? Because I'm gonna head there like the first week of November.
This was the thing that broke it for them. So boom, we had service. We sold the goal. So we sold way higher ticket instead of doing a $21 thing. We sold nutrition and supplements. We sold continuity, and then we did prepayment. So all 4 of these things we did in the first 30 days, and that's how we could drag the cash forward. All right.
Bruh.
And so if for some reason someone
Hold on, we got April. That's the wrong sound. What the? Hold on.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
you gotta be pulling out all the sounds, bro. You was supposed to be there when gang was supposed to be out there. You know what I'm saying? You got me thrown off. I'm supposed to be professional juice right now. Professional juice is back on. So we're gonna be back here talking about how you can break the gym industry. Listen, y'all offer these services. Listen, Gus, I wanted to meet you in real life. You know what I'm saying? You're my boy.
didn't buy the first offer thing, we had a
Last
down
time
sell
we was
floor.
out there at the
sold
same
goal,
time,
Then we
too.
sell a smaller package. Then we sell a free trial with penalty. Then we sold a free trial with no commitment. And then we did a free orientation. And so what I mean is, like, let's say somebody didn't want to do the free trial. So, for example, these people,
We ain't giving them the free trial.
they didn't buy any service. But how do we get money out of them? We said, hey, no worries. Why don't you just come for a nutrition orientation? We just want to help you out for free. People come to nutrition orientation not having signed up for the gym, and we'd sell them $300 in supplements. So we still made money from no's by selling them a different way to get to their goal. So that was the downsell flow for service. For supplements, we would sell a full supplement bundle, then we'd sell a 4-pack with extras. So we'd add a couple pieces in, then we'd downsell just to a 4-pack, and then we'd have it on continuity, then no continuity, then we do extras only.
And Gus, since you're just getting in, I just want you to understand the metrics. This man took businesses that were going from like doing like a couple $1,000s a month to flipping them and adding all of this stuff like the money downsell flow with the supplements and all of that to doing $10 million in 3 months. So that's why I'm like, yeah, bro, we got to tap into exactly what he's talking about and start implementing it in our lives. That's why I'm just being very transparent. Like, it's no lie here. You guys have the free ability to go get my free ebook on the travel for free, but this content creator course is not going to be free. The only way you're going to catch it for free is if you're watching the videos as they come out. I'm not too sure if they'll stay up for too long. I'll probably leave them out for like a couple weeks, but yeah, man, like, you gotta make money. I'm not trying to tax anybody because I do want to offer you guys like a lot of this stuff kind of for free. But listen, I've been doing this camera thing for like 15 years, so why not build y'all a course? You know what I'm saying?
And then the meals flow, same deal. We'd work our way from biggest all the way to smallest. And then continuity, we'd go, again, sell to goal, smaller package, and then month to month. And then finally, the prepayment is we'd prepay the whole package, prepay for a discount, prepay the next month, and then we just get the commitment. Just say, fine, you're in continuity now. And all of this, if you're looking at the days, this is day 21 to 28, 14 to 21. And this is upfront, and this is within 48 hours. So all of these things are happening.
So instead of just getting memberships, though, Gus, what he's saying is he did memberships. He started selling like vitamins through the store, and he didn't get anything special, bro. He got vitamins from like a regular vitamin shop, but he said because they're in my gym, you got to pay this new price, right? And people weren't gonna be like, well, fuck it, yeah, I'm in the gym. They already telling me what I need to get. Why would I wait until I leave and go X place where I don't know where it's at or something, and I'll get that? And then here's where it's even more crazy, right? How he was also working them is like, okay, you pay this membership, you get 3 months, quote unquote, free, or if you beat your goals, right, we give you the money back. He knew that 60% of those people were never gonna come. They were gonna miss out. All it would take was like 2 or 3 misses, and then you know, your money is gone pretty much. So he was working that. So it's not just memberships now. He's getting supplements, memberships, food, and all these other things just so you can pay him more money.
Fast. All right. So that is how he broke the gym industry. So now let's talk about all the things that I just did, but we're going to chunk up so that you can apply it to any business. All right. So there's attraction offers, upsell offers, downsell offers, and continuity offers. The objective of each of these, attraction offers is to liquidate how much it costs you to get a customer. Upsell offers are to maximize profit. Downsell offers are to maximize conversion. Continuity offers are to stabilize cash flow in the business. There are many ways to accomplish CFA. Some businesses can do it with only one offer. Some businesses get funding, so they don't need to break even and get customers because they have outside money that's injected into their system. But for everyone else,
and he also, I'm just pausing it real quick for people who would be like, well, I don't have no money to start. He also made it very clear how you can make this money. And I'm going to explain it to you really simple. You get an idea, you have it, you make sure as soon as the idea is ready, you advertise well. You don't spend more than what you think it will cost for you to start making a profit for said advertisement. But all of these platforms have the ability to just run ads. You can pay $20, $5, TikTok shop, all of this other kind of crazy shit. And then all you have to do is rinse and repeat, get new people from new places, and you're making millions of dollars in weeks. For real.
Probably watching this, I will explain a model that I have seen emerge over and over and over again within the businesses that I built. So when I look at every single amazing business that I've built that's made a lot of money, they had these things pretty much in this sequence. And it doesn't happen all at once. It just often becomes something that you build towards. So to be very clear, I'm not saying you start with a fully fledged money model because it will break your whole business in half. You want to start with one, you start adding in layers, like layers of paint. You just keep putting more and more layers on it. And so again, you can build an amazing business with just one or two of these things. And sometimes it's worth keeping it simple and just doing that. If you can scale with, I want to scale with as few offers as humanly possible, but I still want to maximize how much money I make in the shortest period of time. So if I have to add more, I will, to enable me scaling. But I want to have as few as I can because I want to have as little operational drag as possible. All right. And so it has 4 prongs or 4 different vectors and different offers that correspond to each objective. All right. So this beautiful little image took me a very long time to figure out.
I don't know why.
Right. And so we have attraction offers that bring people in the door. We have upsell offers that typically happen immediately after that get people to buy more stuff. We have downsell offers for people who don't see yes to either of these things, so we can still get conversions and then potentially upsell them later. And then we have continuity offers on the back, which get them into a recurring cash flow payment to the business. And so let's explain how they all work together to make a symphony of CFA. All right. So here we turn strangers into customers, come to spend more money. Lower CAC is to get people, to say yes when they would have said no, which is what you offer when they say no. And then continuity, you keep people buying, all right, which is meaning you get them to buy again. All right, so those are the 4 prongs. And so, like I said earlier, this is just showing it through that same model, the gym launch model. So we used the books and the lead magnets and the podcasts, things like that. It's free. Then we sold them an upfront cash thing. So we generated upfront cash with the next sale with the 16 weeks. Then we would maximize profit by getting them to upsell supplements, then sell our supplements on our behalf.
See, that's what I was saying,
and then
right
we built continuity, which is the 3-year license.
Exactly how I was saying.
$42,000 a year. And note, I'm not saying that you have to use all 4. I'm just saying I noticed that my most successful companies did, and many companies you only use 1 or 2. Okay, so let's look at the model that I showed earlier with weight loss. We had a free promo, get people in. We got cash by selling challenges that they could get their money back or sell to goal, either one. Then we would sell supplements. Then we would sell memberships.
That's
all
it.
The way through.
That's it, yeah.
Rental car. $19 a day gets me in the door. Then pretty much everything was upsells. So these kind of all happened at once. So I'm saying like this is just a model. Like it's more about the business. So we had all the insurance, the late payback, the gas, the upgrading the car, all that stuff. All right. And then continuity is where they say, great, do you want to enter our rewards program? And so great money models can include multiple in the same business.
That's the email.
So you can notice here, like there's multiples here. There was insurance, there's multiple upsells. So it's not like you only have to have one, you can have multiple things there. Through the rest of our time together, I'll show you genius ways that other entrepreneurs have stacked and recombined these things to make lots of money. And I will only show the ones that I also then used, modeled that in my businesses and what we did. All right. Ka-jang!
All right, I think that's the
4
last
types of offers.
one. How much time is this one? Oh, this is 4 minutes. Y'all want to see this joint? I got like a little less than 10 minutes before I got to get up out of here. I got to go, run some business myself. This is the last one of the intro to the book. So for my boy Gus, who just got up in here, and Gus, I really want to tap in with you because have you seen our boy Trey? I mean, I seen him on the internet, but we need him to come go get live, bro. We need to tap into my boy ear. We need him to go live. But other than that, my people, I just want to make sure that you guys are actually learning something from the content today, because I'm not here just to, be spitting hot gas. I want us to actually ride out and like my goal with this is to make sure that at least 100 of my viewers, you know what I'm saying? Right. You feel me? It's been a little minute. You know what I'm saying? That's my boy. I'm just hoping he good. I've been tapping in with him, but he's probably locked in. I think he's trying to get right in the gym, but I really hope he's good. But I do want 100 of at least any viewer. It doesn't matter, race, creed, shape, or form. I want you guys to lock in with this type of thing and start making some money, because I really want to be around a bunch of people who have that financial freedom, much like myself, to be able to do whatever it is that they want to do and bring wealth to this world by their actions, their words, or whatever they bring as a product. All right, let's see what it says. Ride along apprenticeship. 4 minutes.
All right, so we covered how businesses make money, the 3 prongs of client finance acquisition, the 3 levels of advertising.
All right, we heard all that.
Some skills are complex skills that have many skills bundled within them that take longer to get a big enough sample size to be proficient. So for example, if you're looking at deals, it takes a very long time to see lots of different deals to be able to recognize patterns. It takes a long time to look at lots of different surgical cases of different patients to be able to recognize patterns. And so it's more that the larger meta skill of pattern recognition takes a longer time to learn. And that's typically why people work with an expert for periods of time in order to get that skill set.
So it's talking about apprenticeships.
And so
this is like
advertising and creating money models are some of those harder skills, in my opinion. It takes time to see those patterns and to know what to look for.
That's this book
and
right here. I'm a big ass book reader, but this is this.
And so there's 3 steps to teaching as I see it: document, demonstrate, duplicate. I cover this in my leads book. And so a good teacher makes sure that you do all 3 of these things. You document, you demonstrate, they duplicate, right? They being, well, flip this. I document, I demonstrate, you duplicate, okay? Now, the problem with me training like this one-to-many is that I can't see you do it, right? So I can only do the first 2, right? It'll be up to you to duplicate this. But I will teach you exactly how I learned all these money models so that you can get my first decade of experience in a day and shortcut your path to your goals. All right, so it's me taking, 10 or now 13 years or 14, whatever, and compressing it into a full day. And I'm going to tell you the stories, how I learned them, so that hopefully you can kind of relive to the best way possible as though you were with me. All right. And the reason I felt compelled to share these money models is I made a very tactical video with 3 money models 2 years ago. And the amount of messages that I got.
You took it down.
Like, I made 50 grand from that video.
Smart move.
I made $1 million on that video.
See?
I was like, oh, people get the offer, they get the lead stuff, but they don't understand how to put the money, how to connect that with them making a profit, and then being able to scale their advertising through sequencing offers together. That was the thing that I didn't know that people weren't putting together. And I was like, oh, and then that is why I make these. Okay, so think of this as entering my private money models journal. And so each of these stories actually was in a journal of mine that I've kept for, like, whenever I see anything cool, I just write it down. I'm like, I'll save this for later. Like, it's kind of like a...
So this is perfect because this is something I talked to another guy about earlier, just through my own personal work. But they wanted to get to a certain goal, and you do have to, like I tried to tell them, you can't master everything at the same time. Like, anything you have to start at one level. Like, for example, going back to cameras, you need to figure out lighting before you start to try to figure out camera depth and stuff like that. If you can't light a room, light your space right, get that together, then it ain't no point in you worried about backlighting, and no point in you worried about the sound and all this other shit. You need to focus in on the one thing that you don't know and then learn and then build from there. Have a good foundation. That's what I wanted to say.
Like a magic card or a Pokemon card or a play that you want to pull out at a later time. Like they're basically like scratch off winners. Like they've already been scratched off. You just got to turn them in for money. Like these things work. And my notes were scattered all over the place. And then this book was me consolidating all of them in one place.
Okay.
All right. So the rest of this book and training will be all the tiny tactics I picked up that make leads and offers come together into money models. All right. So each money model will have a visual or doodle. They'll have a description, examples, important points, summary. And then this is me making a reminder that if you ever find any out in the wild, you're like, oh, this is totally different and not covered in the book, just email it to me at value@acquisition.com. I will mention you. If it's sweet, I'm going to be honest. Like if you had 9 times out of 10 people are like, this is brand new. I'm like, that's just a free trial. But
it's the same old
if you
shit.
have something novel, I will absolutely blast it and give you all the credit in the world, because I want this to be a living thing for Mosey Nation. It's just like this one place that, like an encyclopedia of
you gave me
offers,
the same old ish, bro.
For everyone who thinks this won't work for my business, want to bet. Every business can use any of these money models I'm about to share. I give so many examples to show you how. So instead of just saying that, just say, how could I use this for my business? How can I make this work? And you will find the answer. What would it take?
I'm going to let it rock. I was about to skip
So here's my big advertising lawman disclamer. There are organizations whose sole responsibility is punishing businesses using deceptive practices. You must always observe the law. Law differs by city, state, country, and time period. So at the time of recording this,
listen, best practice is to always go out there with your best foot forward. That's why I said do something that you actually know, so that way you're providing genuine value, not some bullshit value.
We're doing are allowed in the state that I'm currently in the United States today. I am not saying that you should do these. These are hypothetical models to think things through that comply with your local area and time period, if it's in the future, which it will be if you're watching this. So I tell stories of how I learned things under the assumption that the business owners I learned them from did their legal diligence, when in doubt, give people their money back, and just get better. It's less effort to get another customer than to fix a reputation. So I accept zero responsibility for actions that you take or don't take as a result of this training. Do your own due diligence within the laws of your area and industry and time period. Huzzah! And with that being said, this now begins our ride-along apprenticeship.
All right, you guys. So, yeah, I'm about to get up out of here. I don't got too much time left. If you've liked the video, do me one favor. Just drop down, hit the like button, share the video for anybody that you want to start making some money. If you want to learn what we had going on, drop in and hit the playlist. It's going to be Money One-on-One. And that way you can see everything that you might have missed out on in the last couple of videos. We're going to be doing this a lot more. I'm doing this every Monday, but I just had to come out and do this because the book came in, y'all. Again, I got a lot of little free stuff inside of here, so I'm going to make sure that I unlock all of that stuff with you guys. There's an AI that got included with this that helps you to shape your business. So if you have any questions for the AI, it will tell you from start to finish how to model your business, how to start generating sales, the best place to put it, to get the most money, and all those kind of things. So, yeah, and just so you guys know, I'm not bullshitting. This is him on the back, him and his wife. You feel me? So, again, my good people, live as long as you want, never want as long as you live, and always squeeze the best juice out of life.